Spain had the heaviest April snowfall in 20 years. In places, up to 30 millimeters of precipitation fell. The air temperature ranges from -2 to +6 degrees. The snow affected up to 35 kilometers of roads, mostly in northern and central Spain, according to the country's road agency. Heavy rainfall fell in the city of Segovia, which is located 90 kilometers northwest of Madrid. This snowfall took the utilities by surprise. Many roads were temporarily closed to traffic. The return of winter in the calendar spring surprised many locals. Forecasters had previously warned that a winter storm would hit the country. Much of Iraq was hit by a powerful dust storm. And this is the third dust storm in Iraq since the beginning of the month. It led to the closure of 2 airports in Baghdad and Najaf. The dust storm caused dozens of cases of suffocation and many people were taken to hospitals due to breathing problems. According to the weather department of this semi-desert country, a cloud of yellow dust covered most of Iraq, including the capital Baghdad. The weather is expected to continue until at least Friday. Due to bad weather and visibility of less than 200 meters, there were also problems in transport communications. Iraq was hit by 2 sandstorms last week, resulting in dozens of hospitalizations due to breathing problems. In the Mexican state of Guanajuato, strong gusts of wind were observed during the day, which caused damage to infrastructure. According to the media, the maximum wind gusts were 28 meters per second. Irapuato is one of the most affected cities in the state from the violence of the elements. The wind tore roofs off houses, knocked down trees, and uprooted some. Such weather conditions will be observed during today. The authorities urge the population to be careful on the street, if possible, not be near shaky structures, billboards. Do not park personal vehicles near trees. No casualties or injuries were noted. The authorities are working to restore the infrastructure. But the Mexican state of Veracruz was hit by a powerful tornado, which hit the village of Los Pescados in Perote County. This tornado surprised the locals. This weather phenomenon is very rare in these parts. And then there was such a giant that swept through the streets of the city, destroying everything around. The last time a tornado hit this region was 20 years ago. It is preliminary known that this tornado destroyed 25 houses, and damaged even more. Some of the houses lost their roofs, some were almost completely destroyed. Many locals managed to fix this tornado and share it on social networks. According to eyewitnesses, it was possible to observe this giant for about 5 minutes. That's how long it raged over the city. No dead were noted. A hailstorm hit Argentina with heavy rainfall. The largest hailstones were noted in the city of Rio Segundo in the province of Córdoba. The maximum size of ice floes that could be collected and measured was 5 centimeters in diameter. In our time, this is already considered a hail of medium size, and even more so for Argentina. The National Meteorological Service issued a warning last night of severe storms, rain and large hail. This forecast came true. Hail was observed almost throughout the province. Somewhere it was up to 2 centimeters in diameter, and somewhere quite large. The element raged for about 30 minutes. In some areas, localized floods were noted. The height of the flood reached 50 centimeters. forest fires in Arizona are gaining momentum. An emergency has been declared in several counties at once. This fire covered 55 hectares of vegetation and destroyed 270 residential buildings, while causing the evacuation of several thousand residents and livestock. The area is part of a band of Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado that are facing their worst drought in 20 years. To date, the area that is engulfed in fire is comparable to the territory of Manhattan. According to officials, the fire continues to move towards the main road to the northeast. Despite the fact that the flames have been raging since Monday, the fire has still not been contained, according to authorities. High winds and drought are hindering firefighters' efforts to fight the fire. Heavy rains continue to hit Venezuela, causing widespread flooding and landslides. Authorities report that 3 states, Mérida, Sucre, and Táchira, have already suffered as a result of such precipitation. The total number of victims exceeded 2,000 people. Urgent evacuation required 1,000 local residents. In the last 24 hours alone, 20 landslides occurred in the region. In the city of Palmerito, over 200 houses were flooded due to the flooding of the San Pedro River, and the supply of drinking water and electricity was interrupted. Many municipalities have a state of emergency. Over the past month, due to floods and landslides in the country, 25 people have died. More than 10 people have gone missing. The real elements raged in one of the provinces of Pakistan. A heavy wind, and then a sandstorm, covered the province of Sindh. Wind gusts reached 25 meters per second, while in some places visibility dropped to 100 meters. The wind was so strong that it blew roofs off houses and knocked down several trees. For almost 4 hours, this bad weather was observed in many parts of the province. In places, there were reports of a strong dust storm. According to Pakistani media, at least 4 people were injured. Some areas were left without electricity. The wind knocked down power lines. The authorities have already begun to restore the infrastructure. Three villages in Primory were cut off due to the destruction of the bridge in the Krasnoarmysky district of Primorsky Krai. According to experts, the incident occurred as a result of intense snowmelt. The bridge collapsed, because of which 3 settlements refused to be cut off. These are the villages of Meteoritno, Ismailika and Limoniki. At the moment, they are being supplied with food, medicine, fuel and essential goods. And this is not the first case of such a collapse. Over the past 3 days, 2 more bridges have suffered the same fate. Just some kind of bridge fall right in the month of April. On Tuesday, a recently repaired bridge on the Vladivostok, Nakhodka, Vostochny Port Road was damaged, and on Wednesday a bridge in the city of Spassk Dalny collapsed. A strong earthquake struck on Thursday off the western coast of Nicaragua. The magnitude of the tremors was 6.7. There was no tsunami threat. The incident happened at 1:42 a.m. local time. The outbreak lay at a depth of 20 kilometers. Tremors were felt in neighboring El Salvador. The epicenter of the seismic event was located about 60 kilometers from the coastline. Information about the victims has not yet been received. In some sources, a shock with a magnitude of 6.9 and 6.8 was recorded. Approximately 2 minutes later, an aftershock with a magnitude of 3.2 followed. The locals complained that they felt a rather strong push. Many ran out into the streets. So far, it is known that cracks and minor damage have formed in some houses. Thank you for watching the video. Thanks for supporting the channel. Good wind and weather.